Let's be honest, too many men today think that once they've had sex with a woman, the work is done. They think intimacy means conquest. They think the win is between the sheets, that the moment she gives herself physically, she's automatically theirs. But what if I told you that what happens immediately after intimacy says more about you than what happens before? Because you see, any man can get a woman undressed, but only a man of substance knows how to handle what comes next, the delicate emotional landscape she's in, the vulnerable state you're in too, and the message your next actions send about your masculinity, your integrity, and your maturity. This is where high-value men separate themselves from lost boys. This is where emotional connection is either built or destroyed. When you're done with her body, the real question begins, will she feel respected, safe, and seen, or used, discarded, and devalued? And listen to me carefully. How you show up in these next moments isn't just about her. It's about who you are as a man. So before you walk away thinking, mission accomplished, let's talk about the 3 things you must do immediately after sex and the emotional intelligence it takes to lead like a man, not just behave like a boy. It's so easy for men to underestimate this moment, that quiet pause immediately after intimacy, where the air is still warm from your shared energy and emotions are silently swirling. Some men think, well, we're done now, and roll over to grab their phone or rush to get dressed, as if sex was a transaction they've completed. But here's a truth most men miss. The way you hold her after sex speaks volumes about who you are as a man, far more than any words you said before. Whether she says it out loud or not, she's reading your body language right now with heightened sensitivity. She's noticing whether you make space for her physically or emotionally pull away. She's observing whether your arms invite her closer or your body shifts into distance. Why does this matter? Because intimacy is not just a physical act, it's an emotional one too. Even in casual encounters, a woman's subconscious is looking for emotional cues that tell her, was this meaningful, or was I just used? Does this man value me as a human being, or was I simply a body for him? And listen, I'm not saying you have to fake emotions you don't feel, but respect is never optional, no matter the relationship context. A high-value man recognizes that holding a woman after sex is a simple but powerful act of emotional leadership. It says, you're safe here. It says, this was more than biology. It was connection. It says, even if this is casual, I respect what we just shared. You might think she's detached because she seems quiet, but that silence is often where she's feeling everything. Your arms or your absence speak louder than any words right now. So if you want to stand apart as a man who not only understands physical pleasure, but emotional mastery, remember this: when you hold her, you're not just touching her body, you're touching her heart, even if it's unspoken. Never forget how you hold her after will stay with her far longer than how you held her during. This is the part most men overlook, and it's exactly where women quietly evaluate who you really are. You see, it's easy to speak sweet words before intimacy. That's when you're chasing, when your desire is strong, when your words flow effortlessly as part of the seduction. But after sex, that's when the truth comes out. Many men fall into complete silence after intimacy. They switch off emotionally, reach for their phone, turn on the TV, or act distracted, as if intimacy was a task completed, and now they can mentally check out. Let me tell you something most women won't say aloud: this silence. It hurts. Even when she tries to act casual, even when she pretends she's fine, it cuts deeper than you realize. Because what she's experiencing in that quiet moment is vulnerability. After sex, her body may still be wrapped around you, but her mind is scanning for reassurance. Her heart is subconsciously asking, is this man still with me? Does this connection mean something? Can I feel safe emotionally here? And your communication, or lack of it, provides the answer. A high-value man doesn't run from this moment. He leans in. That doesn't mean you need to have some deep, poetic conversation. It simply means being present, responsive, and kind. Ask how she feels. Tell her how you feel in that moment. Even a simple, how are you feeling? Or that felt really special, can change the entire emotional dynamic between you. Here's what separates boys from men. Boys go silent because they're uncomfortable holding emotional space. Men know that true emotional strength is in their ability to stay connected, even when their primal urges are satisfied. When you communicate gently, attentively, and respectfully after sex, you create emotional safety. You make her feel seen as a person, not just a body. And here's the thing, this isn't just about her. Your ability to communicate after intimacy reflects your emotional maturity, your self-awareness, and your respect for yourself as much as for her. Real men don't disappear emotionally after sex. They show up. This is the part many men completely underestimate. When the physical act is over and clothes go back on, what remains is not just memory. It's reputation, dignity, and self-respect for both of you. You see, some men believe that if it was casual, if it was just a hookup, they don't owe her anything beyond the bedroom. But that thinking exposes immaturity. Even in the most casual situations, even when both parties know it's not about long-term commitment, respect is not optional. A woman may have shared her body with you, but what she expects, what she deserves, is that you protect her dignity. That means you never speak badly about her after the fact. That means you don't run off to your friends to brag about what she did, or how it happened, or how you scored. Because here's the truth. The moment you start boasting about your intimate moments with her, you diminish your own worth as a man. It tells the world you lack discretion. It tells the world you don't value privacy. It tells the world that you see women as conquests to collect, not human beings to respect. Even when it's casual. A high-value man understands this distinction deeply. He knows that even if the encounter is brief, the impact of his words and actions afterward can last a lifetime, both for her reputation and for his character. Protecting her dignity also means how you behave towards her the next day. Do you pretend she never existed? Do you ghost her or ignore her in public? Or do you maintain a sense of kindness, decency, and emotional intelligence, treating her like a person who trusted you enough to share an intimate experience? You may think you're being cool by acting detached or careless, but detachment isn't strength, it's avoidance. True masculine strength is shown by the man who can walk away from any encounter, whether it's love or lust, leaving the woman with her dignity fully intact, and who walks away with his own dignity intact as well. Remember this, you protect her dignity because you respect your own character as a man. After sex, there's a subtle shift in the air that most men fail to notice because they're too wrapped up in their own feelings. You feel relaxed. You feel satisfied. Maybe you feel proud. Maybe you feel tired, but what about her? This is where emotional attunement becomes critical. A high-value man does not simply walk away, assuming she feels exactly like he does. Instead, he's tuned in, carefully observing her emotional state, her body language, her energy. Does she seem a little withdrawn? Is she lying there quietly but distant? Is she unusually silent, as if something unsaid is weighing on her? Or is she radiant, happy, affectionate, longing for connection? All of this matters deeply, because whether she says it or not, this moment after intimacy is often when a woman's emotions are most raw. Here's the mistake most men make. They assume that because she agreed to sex, she's fine. They assume that because she didn't voice discomfort, she must feel safe. But emotional intelligence is not about waiting for her to speak. It's about reading between the lines. A man who is emotionally attuned can sense when she needs reassurance, even when she doesn't explicitly ask for it. He can tell when a hug, a kiss on the forehead, or simply lying quietly together can help her regulate the intensity of her feelings. And this doesn't mean you have to take responsibility for all of her emotions. That's not your role. But being present enough to notice what's going on with her and respond with kindness. That's the mark of a man who understands true connection. Women often test you here, not with words, but with energy. They want to know, is he aware of me? Can he feel where I am emotionally? Does he care enough to check in without me asking? And when you pass this silent test, you create emotional safety that makes her respect you more, trust you more, and even desire you more. So remember, after sex, don't just be present in your body, be present in your awareness. A man's value isn't only in how he touches her physically, it's in how well he feels her emotionally. After sex, your leadership as a man is not over. In fact, this is where it begins. You see, many men think leading is just about getting her into bed. But true leadership is about how you behave after the act, when she's most emotionally open, and when your character is truly revealed. And here's where so many young men, even high-value men, get it wrong. They confuse arrogance with strength. They think acting cold, detached, dismissive, or disinterested makes them appear powerful or in control. It doesn't. It just makes them look emotionally insecure. A man who has true confidence, real masculine energy, and emotional mastery leads gently. He doesn't rush her to get dressed and leave. He doesn't start checking his phone or act like she's an inconvenience. He leads with calm presence, steady, warm, and grounded. Even small gestures here speak volumes. Offering her water, asking if she's comfortable, giving her time and space without making her feel rushed or judged. This isn't about being soft or submissive. It's about showing your power through grace and control. Because real masculine energy is not loud, it's calm. It doesn't need to push her away to feel dominant. It holds space for her presence without losing itself. And when you act this way, she can feel the difference. She knows you're not a boy trying to prove himself. You're a man who's secure enough to treat her with dignity, even after desire has been satisfied. Women remember this subtle leadership, even in the most casual situations, how you guide those final moments. Whether you show kindness, thoughtfulness, and presence determines how she sees your worth as a man. And here's the deeper truth. The way you treat her after intimacy isn't just about her experience. It's a reflection of how you treat yourself. A man who respects himself leads every moment with calm confidence, before, during, and after sex. So remember, gentle strength is a far greater display of masculinity than arrogance will ever be. Most men rush past this part. They're so focused on the act itself, the thrill, the passion, the conquest, that they completely forget the importance of reflection. But if you're a man seeking depth, value, and growth, if you call yourself a high-value man, this is where your mindset has to shift. Because after intimacy, there's a moment that belongs only to you, the quiet space where you ask yourself, what did this really mean? For me, for her, and what should happen next? This isn't about overthinking or turning every experience into a deep commitment. It's about self-awareness. Did you enter this connection honestly? Did you communicate clearly about your intentions before it happened? Are you now giving her false hope or leaving her with emotional confusion? A man who doesn't reflect is a man who leaves a trail of damage behind him, not just to women, but to himself. Because every time you casually move on without checking in with your own feelings, you become more emotionally detached from your own humanity. High-value men know better. They pause. They check in with themselves. They think beyond the pleasure and ask, how did this experience impact me? How might it have impacted her? And more importantly, what is my responsibility here now that this has happened? If it was a purely casual encounter, be clear with her and with yourself. If emotions were stirred in you, acknowledge them honestly. Don't suppress them just to appear cool or dominant. Reflection is what separates intentional men from reckless ones. It's where you cultivate emotional discipline and integrity. And believe me, a man who takes time to reflect after intimacy builds not only better relationships, but better self-respect. Because you will never respect yourself fully if you treat these moments lightly. So don't just chase the next high. Before you even stand up to leave that bed, ask yourself, what does this mean? And what kind of man do I want to be and how I handle it? That answer, your honest answer, is where real masculine power begins.